last night, but it proved worth the wait. Steven Strasburg did not allow a run in his first start this month, and the offense provided some early support in a 3-1 win that ended this morning. Jordan Zimmermann leads the way in Game 2. Tonight, it's a perfect evening for baseball in D.C. What a difference 24 hours make. It is absolutely gorgeous tonight. The Braves are 5 under on the road. The Nats have won 5 in a row, so they're on a bit of a cruise here and trying to strengthen their lead in the East. Here's the season series. 6 out of 7 for the Nats. The runs, no contest. The home runs, unbelievable dominance there. And they're hitting with runners in scoring position. They've also gotten that monkey off their backs from a couple of years ago, winning 13 of the last 18. So good to see all those numbers. Now time for Jordan Zimmermann to straighten things out. He's never lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, he's lost 3 in a row going into tonight, but I think he did straighten things out his last start against Tampa Bay. He looked like the old Jordan Zimmermann. Even though he gave up 3 runs on 8 hits, he had 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. He was staying back and over the mound longer, not rushing his front side. So he was more under control, more deliberate, and you like what you saw out of Jordan Zimmermann his last start. But he's going up against a tough one tonight in Shelby Miller, who's allowed 2 earned runs or less in 12 of his last 14 starts. You see the ERA, 1.99. It's a guy that throws primarily fastballs. He'll sink the fastball, he'll cut the fastball, he'll elevate it using all 4 quadrants of the zone. He's going to challenge with some heat. The 2-seam fastball, the sinker, has been the key to his success this year.
And the Braves haven't been giving him any runs to work with, but he is one tough customer. Anthony Rendon faces him tonight. Anthony had a big night last night with 4 hits. So 18 hits in 17 games since he came back. He's hit safely in 10 of his last 12, with Rendon getting it back in between Span and Escobar. And then Harper, look out for this Washington offense. In a row tonight. And a 2.5 game lead on the Mets, 3 on the Braves. It's 82 degrees, clear skies, absolutely brilliant baseball weather. Braves are 6th in the league in hitting and in runs, fewest home runs in all of baseball. Nick Markakis hasn't hit one this year. The Braves have hit 42, but Markakis had 3 hits last night. He has 80 on the year, and that's the 7th highest total for any National League hitter.
We see the arsenal of Jordan Zimmermann last start. Fastball average 94, slider 88, changeup 80. Threw the slider 30% of the time his last start. And that was against Tampa Bay. 7 strong innings of work, gave up 8 hits, 3 runs on 8 hits, struck out 8 Rays.
First pitch high, second pitch coming quickly, strike 1. Yeah, so the league hitting .289 against him, .375 ERA, 5-5 record. And that's 94 away. Career, by the way, Jordan against the Braves, 12 starts, 5-2 with a .315 ERA. '11-year veteran Ed Hickox has the plate. Mike Estabrook, first base. Crew chief Dana DeMuth at second. Sam Holbrook, third base. 2-2 pitch. Out to left center. Denard Span tracking it. Routine out to start the game.
Let's set the defense behind Jordan Zimmermann tonight. Taylor, Span, Harper, your outfield. Desmond, Escobar left side. Rendon, Robinson right side. Wilson, Ramos behind the plate.
Ian Desmond back in the lineup, back on defense tonight. He was to have 2 games in a row off over the weekend, but Escobar wasn't feeling well, so Ian played Saturday. Back in there tonight, hoping to make some noise in the number 7 spot offensively. Here's Cameron Maybin, 2 for 11 career against Jordan Zimmermann, steps in at 286. And that was interesting when he hit that home run, 8th inning last night. First homer by the Braves against the Nats this year. The season series has been dominated by DC. 4-0 here.
I'm having a chat with Johnny Gomes before the game today, and he asked what was wrong with Ryan Zimmermann. I said plantar fasciitis, and Cameron Maybin, standing right next to us, said, "Oh man, that hurts." He goes, "Of all the injuries I've had, plantar fasciitis, most painful thing I've ever been through."
1-2 pitch. Fastball inside. I'll feel around to the right a bit. Another 2-2 count and a swing and a miss on 95 upstairs. That's 61 strikeouts in nearly 85 innings.
An elevated fastball from Jordan Zimmermann, and that's what Steven Strasburg did so well against the Braves last night. And I was talking to some of the Braves hitters today and asking them, did he hide the ball better? Was there a little more deception in his delivery? And they all were talking about the late life on his high fastball and how it was tough to lay off. The fastball right around the letters. You know, you miss a couple inches low, those go a long ways. But Steven Strasburg did a nice job last night of throwing it right around that Atlanta on their jersey. And Jordan Zimmermann picking up right where Strasburg left off. Great night last night for the big right-hander.
Ball coming out of his hand beautifully. Hope you enjoyed his interview with Johnny just a few moments ago. Quite a good get for Johnny and the guys on Nats Extra pregame, hearing from Strasburg, and hopefully nothing but good things ahead for Steven. Markakis, 5 out of 18 with a home run career against Strasburg's teammate Jordan Zimmermann. Steps in at an even 300 after a 3-hit night. And a 4th hit of the series.
He can hit. Flat out can hit. Not your prototypical 3-hitter, let off a lot in Baltimore. And you said something about no home runs this year, 21 RBI, but a guy that just consistently puts the ball in play wherever it's pitched. Love watching him hit. Pretty swing.
A.J. Pierzynski, 4 for 8 over his last 2 games. And the Braves just aren't a power-hitting ball club these days. Busted bat up the middle. That's where Desmond was playing. Looked like that ball had some spin on it. Ian handles it, and Jordan Zimmerman faces 4 batters and has a pretty quick top of the first. PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. By Jeep, visit Jeep.com to learn more. By visit Annapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visit Annapolis.org. And by Bud Light. Stay in the game and drink responsibly. Coming in, that's averaging 33,676 per game. A hot Denard Span leads off for the Nats tonight. Rendon and Escobar, and all 3 of those guys swinging well. Then there's Harper, Ramos, and Clint Robinson in the lineup tonight. Ian Desmond back in there, and Michael A. Taylor in the middle of a great streak himself, on base 14 straight games.
Yeah, good chance you're getting a fastball tonight if you're a Nats hitter. Shelby Miller throws it 88% of the time. Last start it averaged 95 miles an hour. So a big fastball for Miller. He'll throw it 4C, meaning straight, 2C middle sink away from a lefty into a righty. He'll cut the fastball, which goes back into a lefty away from a righty. And he'll go up, down, in, out with it, move it around.
And Span on a play to the left side. He has 1 win in his last 8 starts, going back to May 11th, despite a 2.24 ERA. And he was 0.95 in May, the best in the major leagues for that month, but the Braves just haven't been able to get him enough runs to win. Career record of 31-21. And Denard Span will hook one to right. That ball is caught and held on by a sliding Nick Markakis.
Well, that's just being ready for the baseball right from the get-go. Nice play by Markakis. Hung up there a little too long for Denard Span to get a base hit, but watch Markakis in the good jump, sliding into a little snow cone action there, right? Kind of hits the heel, comes right out toward the end, and I thought I saw some white on the ground, but it was in his glove the whole way. Shelby Miller liking the play of his right fielder to start this one up. Watch Shelby Miller's last start. 38 of his first 39 pitches were fastballs. That pitch to Denard right there was a cutter at 86, so he likes to establish the fastball.
Rendon pulls one.
So the defense for the Braves behind Shelby Miller. Perez, Maben, Markakis, who you just saw the outfield. Simmons, Johnson left side. Peterson, Turdoslavich right side. And A.J. Przinsky behind the plate.
Right side. Then retreating to the bag, Turdoslavich, after thinking he might be able to reach it. Peterson did. And a 4-3, 2 quick outs. Escobar next.
Miller's allowed 2 earned runs or less in 12 of his 14 starts this year. And it all started with him believing in that two-seam fastball. Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals last year told him, hey, you got a good two-seamer, use it. It's a pitch he really didn't use. He was 4-seam fastball cutter. And in a start this year before the Phillies, he told A.J. Pierzynski, I'm going to throw the sinker today. And get this, it was a complete game 3-hit shutout where he struck out 8 fills. So ever since that start, he's really relied on that two-seam fastball, the sinker, to be his bread and butter.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, then he's not just striking people out. 65 Ks in 91 innings. That'll get you deeper into some ball games. And a ball pulled to the left side. So a well-hit liner to right by Span. 2 ground balls. Shelby Miller a 1-2-3. And it looks like we're in store for some good pitching tonight.
Approach as good as I've seen it all year. And now he's going to hold the sign for us. Celebrate U.S. Army Day delivered by UPS at Nats Park. Nats welcome the Atlanta Braves. That's Thursday, June 29th, 4:05 start. Wait, that's tomorrow. Representatives from the U.S. Army will participate in pregame ceremonies and be honored as special guests for the salute to service. Go to nationals.com to purchase your tickets for tomorrow's 4:05 start against the Atlanta Braves. And it looks like an Orioles-Nats interleague game tonight with all the orange in the ballpark tonight. I mean, there's orange everywhere. On College Rivalry Day, Virginia Tech, everywhere.
Yeah, we got orange and blue. We have orange and purple. Hokies and the Cavaliers. Here's Joey Turdoslavich. Like Ian Desmond out of Sarasota High School, went to Miami. He's had 5 at-bats at the big league level this year. 69 games in parts of 3 years with the Braves for this 6th-round draft choice in 2010. Went from Miami to Long Beach State, coast to coast in his college career. Playing first base tonight. And the 0-2 is just kind of guiding the ball out of play to stay alive. Jordan Zimmermann, first inning, 14 pitches, 10 strikes. And there's that heater upstairs. Then he goes off speed. 81 for the strikeout. Zimmerman's 2nd K of the game.
Yeah, I think last start for Jordan, his off speed was as good as we've seen it in the last 3 or 4 starts. And the curveball here early, the slider was good. And even though he lost his 3rd straight decision last time out against Tampa, I felt like his stuff was the old Jordan Zimmermann stuff.
Strike 1 to Kelly Johnson. He's 3 for 11 career against Zimmermann. Jordan with a great work rate here at the start of the ball game, getting the ball back from Wilson Ramos and ready to roll. On a play left side.
So Justin Anderson from University of Virginia threw out the first pitch. Ryan Zimmerman caught it. So a lot of college flavor here today.
Yeah. 0-2 pitch in the dirt.
And the reason I'm saying that Ryan Zimmerman caught it, I don't know if there's any correlation, but on Friday night, I have Ryan's bobblehead right here, his walk-off bobblehead.
Right.
And he broke his leg. I mean, it came off.
I know you broke him.
I broke him, but they've won 4 in a row with broke Ryan Zimmerman on my desk here, so.
We're going to get some orthotics for that.
We figure he's on the DL, just stay with it. So he's kind of leaning up against the counter, and he's 4-0, and we're leaving him right here.
Yeah. Orthotics for a bobblehead. Who would have thought?
His right foot scuffling.
2-2 pitch. Kelly Johnson late for it. Mets are at Atlanta again tonight. Bartolo Colon going for New York. As long as they all have curly W's, we're good with whatever colors they're wearing.
I like it.
2-2 pitch. Target in and up. And that ground ball perfectly placed by Kelly Johnson right up the middle. If I said the Mets are in Atlanta, they'd be really lonely. They're playing Milwaukee tonight.
Did you just say that?
I don't know. I was told I did by the truck.
That's all right.
Okay. That'd be a long way to go for an intra-squad game. Andrelton Simmons is next, and he's 8 for his last 15. 1 for 4 last night. Ground ball, not hit that hard. Desmond, and Ian Desmond couldn't get the connection made for the throw. I didn't think they had any shot at 2. You figured they would just get the lead runner. That's going to be number 16 on Ian Desmond.
Yeah, no real hurry here, just based on the speed of the ball, but with the exchange, let's see what happens right here. Just not reaching in his glove with the bare hand, and the trials and errors of Ian Desmond continue.
Now, we didn't want to see that before he even gets his first at bat tonight. There's a swing and a miss and a ball by former Nat Yuri Perez, who's played 5 games for the Braves and is 5 for 17 with an RBI.
Yeah, I went out with Chad Dukes today on 106.7, had a great time, and we were talking. He asked me about Ian Desmond and what's going on with him. And I said, you know, you'd have to ask him, but based on experience, you know, your whole life as a player, a guy like Ian Desmond plays to win. You do something to help your ball club win every day. Then all of a sudden, it's your contract year, and it's more about your numbers and about me putting up numbers to take care of my family for life.
Now that's hit hard.
And maybe we'll continue that next inning.
And should be 2. 4-6-3. So a runner stranded by the Braves. They've left 2. And Jordan Zimmerman, veteran guy, pitching around the error. Look out. Look out. Fight brewing.
seems like opposing teams are being very careful with Bryce Harper this season. Well, it's because they are. Harper has actually seen the lowest percentage of pitches in the strike zone of any hitter in the majors this season, just 37.6% coming into tonight. We've talked this year about how Harper's been patient at the plate. He's taking his walks and not raging at the ball, as Rick Shue calls it. The patience has been impressive, and so are Harper's 24 homers and elevated power numbers, especially when you consider he's getting very few pitches to hit in the strike zone this year, guys.
When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Thanks, Dan, with our Coons.com sideline report. 10th pitch of the game for Shelby Miller. Bryce Harper's 1-for-8 career against him with a base on balls.
I mean, you have a tendency as a hitter when you're seeing so many balls to be passive and lose your aggressive nature. That's what makes what Bryce has done this year so impressive based on what Dan just said. When it's in the zone, he's giving it a ride.
And here's a guy attacking the strike zone in this ball game so far. 11 pitches, 9 strikes from Shelby Miller. And a fastball away that he can't reach at 96. 4 straight to start the game.
Still really hasn't thrown an off-speed pitch. He threw one cutter to Denard Span at 86. Otherwise, all fastballs. That one, the two-seamer we're talking about, tailing away from Bryce Harper. He just runs out of bat.
There's Wilson Ramos. Everybody talking about Rendon. Last night, Wilson Ramos was 3 for 4. And now 12 for his last 32 over 8 games, a 375 mark. That's going to require a new bat. Shelby Miller, by the way, a lot of folks still can't believe the Cardinals gave him up, but St. Louis needed a right fielder. After the untimely death of Oscar Taveras, they went after Jason Hayward, and the Braves just felt it was too good to pass up getting a kid like this. They gave up Jordan Walden in that deal as well. And they've got an arm here they can build their pitching staff around for a number of years. Probably be one of those deals that works out well for both ball clubs. Oh, 2 to Wilson Ramos. And there's the breaking ball at 82 that misses away. Let's go inside the numbers with some Nats offense. Where they rank, Colorado Rockies have 1 more run than the Nats. Slugging, on base percentage, homers, batting average up to 260. Kind of uncharted territory for the team batting average now. Ramos can't get it upstairs.
I feel like those numbers are misleading in the sense that the offense has either been really, really good or the opposite. And I'm sure, even though those numbers are nice for Matt Williams Ball Club, that he would love some consistency, some, not so hot, not so cold, somewhere in the middle. But when you have guys that are up there hacking, that's going to happen. They're going to run into some. They're going to be real hot, or they're going to be real cold.
Clint Robinson takes one outside. Clint and Michael A. Taylor, the 2 young Nats in terms of big league experience, facing Miller for the first time. I mean, he's just rearing back and saying, here's the number 1.
But he's got 4 different number 1s. High, low, in, out, cutter, sinker, 4-seamer, so maybe more than 4.
That ball ripped, and a good pick at first by Joey Turdoslavich. It's been a sad day and a half in the Nats family, and we just want Randy Knorr and his family to know that all of us at Masson are grieving with him upon the loss of his wife, Kimberly, a great lady. Randy's jersey hangs in the dugout tonight, and our Masson family with thoughts for Randy and his family tonight. Nationals Park. Jordan Zimmermann, 30 pitches, 23 strikes. Shelby Miller, his first batter here, top of the third. Shelby Miller 0 for 1 against Jordan Zimmermann. Jordan's 1 for 2 against Miller, and strike one. Big fastball. At PU, we're addressing Ian Desmond's situation. Didn't have quite a chance to wrap up your thoughts an inning ago.
Yeah, I mean, just the way he's playing. You know, guys like Ian Desmond that care about winning first, you know, their whole career they play to win the game. They do something to try to beat you. And then all of a sudden it's about you and your numbers to set generations up for life. And now maybe, you know, in my experience is you lose a little bit of focus on doing those things to help your team win a game. And it's more about what I hit, my numbers at the end of the season. I have a chance to make a ton of money. I don't know if that's what's going on because I haven't talked to him, but I've seen it happen before to players to where the focus changes. And how does he turn his season around? And I think you start to do the little things that made you so successful in the past on trying to beat the other team. You know, when you're a winning baseball player, you go out there and you try to do something little to help your team win every day, whether it's make a great play, whether it's get a bunt down, whether it's an 8-pitch walk, you steal a base, score a run. You do little things to help your team win. You look up at the end of the season and your numbers are what they are. They'll be where they're going to be every year. But so many guys put so much pressure on themselves when they have that contract year because they only cared about winning their whole career, and now all of a sudden they care about their numbers and they put so much pressure on themselves. Do I know that's going on with Ian Desmond? No, because I haven't talked to him, but just based on watching him over the last 5 years, that's what I see in his game this year. It looks like he's trying way too hard to have that special year to set up his kids, and you just hope that he realizes that, hey, just little things to get back into the swing of things and be the guy that you are, and you'll look up in September and your numbers will be right where they've always been.
Well said. And we hope that's certainly what's ahead for Ian Desmond. He'll be leading off the bottom of this inning. Jace Peterson fly ball to center first time up. And Jordan Zimmermann has him 0-2 with 1 out. 80 and a ball out toward the gap. Michael A. Taylor. You've got to hit a ball that's not in the air very long to get it in between Taylor and Span or Harper and Span. 2 outs.
Good point. It's almost like McCutchen and Marte out there. It's tough to split that gap.
You better hit a line drive.
Especially in Pittsburgh. That's when you'll see Michael Taylor covering some ground when the Nats go to Pittsburgh after the All-Star break. That big left field they have at PNC.
Here's Cameron Maben. Struck out swinging first time up. I mean, Jordan Zimmermann right now looks like he's playing catch with Wilson Ramos.
Maybe struck out in that elevated fastball first time up. Let's see if he goes back to it.
One ball, 2 strikes. Upstairs with 94.
Tried.
Jordan Zimmermann took all of 10 seconds there, so Maben thought he was slowing things down and got time. 2-2. Out of play right side.
You know,
this game moving quickly for the Atlanta hitters.
If you're a pitcher and you work fast, the league should send you credits.
Yeah.
You know, they're sending everybody these citations for not having 2 feet in the box or pitchers that are working too slow. You should get credits so that every once in a while, if you want to slow down, the league has sent you like a certificate and you could use it.
2-2 pitch. Like your insurance company that always reduces your rate when you don't have a ticket or an accident.
Let's say Jordan wants to really slow it down one game. Well, he's got credits in his locker that the league has sent him, and he just gives them to the umpire before he gets out there.
That's a base hit. And the Braves kind of doing what they did last night. In the first 6 innings, they had single hits in 4 of them, first 3 tonight.
Celebrate the season with American Standard All-Star Sales Event. It's the longest sales event I've ever seen. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Who's hot? Connect 4. Look at that. And Joe Ross was so good. He struck out 11 in that start. That started the weekend series against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Look at the combined 0.32 ERA, 146 average against.
Maben's done some running this year, 13 steals in 16 attempts.
And it's been against a first-place team in Tampa Bay, a second-place team in Pittsburgh that's 10 games over 500, and the Atlanta Braves, who are playing well this year, too. So it's not like they're doing that against bottom feeders.
Right. Well, and just in time, too. Because after that 2-game sweep at the hands of Tampa Bay last week here, losing 3 out of 4 overall to the Rays, things didn't look that bright with the red-hot Pirates coming to town, and the pitchers turned that around. And you have to give a lot of credit to the young man now pitching for Syracuse, Joe Ross. Max Scherzer the next day with the historic game. Gio great on Sunday, the day off, and then Strasburg last night. 1 ball, 1 strike. And I have to say, after catching a whole lot of sports coverage this morning during a workout, it's been a long time since 5 innings by a starting pitcher got as much attention around the country as Steven Strasburg's did today.
You work out?
Absolutely, every day. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
This shirt's just about ready to rip open here.
You're the mayor of Shred City.
I'm even thinking about putting some weights on those barbells sometime soon. 2-1 pitch. Nick Markakis, and all he's going to do is step off and throw, and Zimmerman gets it to second.
Great tag.
Ian Desmond had to reach at one side and tag on the other, and Maben just kept on going. Jordan kept his cool.
Well, Ian Desmond was moving one way quick. The throw from Jordan Zimmerman was a bolt. And watch the tag by Ian Desmond. Nice knowledge and awareness from Zimmerman to step off. But look at the catch that Desmond made, the tag that he made to get Maben. Very athletic play by the Nats shortstop. And Maben with the greatest jump ever. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Maben tossed out to end the third. Ian Desmond will lead off the bottom of the inning. Desmond having a very streaky year. Hitting .222, but he has 16 multi-hit games. It's just been a while now since he's gotten one of those hot streaks. 1 for 12 career against Shelby Miller. Not the greatest matchup when you're trying to get out of an offensive funk. Well, but he is facing a fastball guy.
It just may be because he knows what he's getting. Miller hasn't thrown an off-speed pitch yet, I don't believe.
I think he threw an 0-2 slider to Ramos, and that was about it. He tries to bolt the fastball, missing away, and it's 1-2. Shelby Miller from Brownwood, Texas. That's a great take. Inside the numbers with STG. In the National League, earned run average leaders, Max Scherzer, his really took a dive over the weekend. And then Shelby Miller right behind Garrett Cole. And ahead of A.J. Burnett, who the Nats beat over the weekend. Desmond high in the air to right. Coming in for it, Nick Markakis. At 7 straight by the 24-year-old Shelby Miller to start his night. Michael A. Taylor and Jordan Zimmerman, the next two. Taylor hitting over 300 his last 13 games. He's been on base 14 in a row. That ball near the bag. They'll have to hurry. And Jace Peterson gets him on a very close play. 2 outs.
That was great audio right there. You just heard what a major league umpire listens for. The glove and the foot on the bag. And it was bang, bang. And so look at Jace Peterson with a nice play. Let's listen. This is what umpires listen for. Right. Hear the glove, hear the foot. And it was that quick.
Fastball low to Jordan Zimmerman. As I mentioned, 1 for 2 career against Miller. 4 base hits this year, 3 RBIs. Up and in with 96, and he is perfect through 3. No score. Nationals Park, middle innings coming up. Who's going to score first in this game?
against the Giants. It's July 3rd through the 5th. The Nats will look to avenge last year's postseason loss. It says it right here. Against Madison Bumgarner, Buster Posey, and the rest of the world champion San Francisco Giants. Go to Nationals.com to get your ticket today. A little half moon action for you. No score, top of the 4th.
For the Achiever and you, PNC Bank, with our minor league report, Nationals signed Jose Valverde to a minor league contract. So, 17 games, 11 strikeouts, couple of walks, 288 saves for the veteran at Syracuse, showcasing his talents, trying to get back to the major leagues. Jordan Zimmermann, 3 innings, 49 pitches, 36 strikes. Nick Markakis has one of their 3 hits. He was in the box when Cameron Maybin decided to take off for second way too soon. Zimmermann just stepped off the rubber and threw him out. Markakis now has 81 hits. Same number as Yunel Escobar. 6th most in the National League.
So many times you see pitchers balk in those situations when guys leave early. That's what was the key to that play.
Markakis to left, and Michael A. Taylor grabs it. 4th inning underway. Next 5 ball games. Tomorrow night, the Nats will see a rookie for the first time. Matt Whistler. Doug Fister will go. He's 2-3 with a 4.80 ERA. Some strange starting times at Philly. 3 on Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday, and then a day off Monday. The Nats will play 3 night games at Turner Field.
Matt Williams shrinking. He's really standing up.
Giants will be followed by the Reds on that homestand you referenced. That's a busted bat. Right side, Clint Robinson, Jordan Zimmermann, and it took A.J. Pierzynski forever to get out of the batter's box on that. 2 outs. And then the Orioles will host the Nats that final weekend into the All-Star break.
I think I counted 20 straight days where if you commute to Baltimore, the Nats players, we sleep in their own beds. July 2nd through the 22nd.
Yeah, they're home for a week after the break.
That doesn't happen in a big league schedule, by the way. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That you get to unpack and relax.
Dodgers and Mets after the break. And a bouncing ball up the middle. It's going to scoot on through. Joey Turdosilovich has a base hit. The Braves 1 single in each inning so far. Here's Kelly Johnson, who had a base hit up the middle with 1 out 2 innings ago. And he's 4 for 12 career against Jordan Zimmermann. 78.
We still strike 1 with the get me over curveball.
Mercedes-Benz tracking it up in the zone. And a ball hit to right center. Bryce Harper's got a ways to go. Can't get there. Takes it on a hop. And the Braves will have 1st and 3rd. 2 down. Kelly Johnson 2 for 2.
Pitch a little elevated. It looked like he might have hit it better than he did. And Bryce Harper kind of went to his right and then had to come in. And the ball just died right in front of him. I think we all thought that ball was hit a little bit better than it was.
Andrelton Simmons hit the ball to Ian Desmond that he booted first time up. Simmons has been a tough out. 8 for his last 16. Strike 1. started this inning at 49 pitches. He's facing his 5th batter this inning, gets up to 60. So things are happening quickly between Jordan and the Braves. Target in, jammed him, hot shot Desmond, picks it cleanly. That's a good play. Braves strand a couple, they've left 4, so Denard Span, Rendon and Escobar to follow. Bottom of the 4th, straight ahead. VA folks here. Thomas Jefferson might win his first race of the year, and he got up. Teddy couldn't pass him, and he did it. He just made it.
That was weird how Teddy was about to pass him and then realized that he was supposed to win the race, so that he stopped and let him win the race.
Wait, what are you saying?
I don't know. It was just weird, is all I say.
Mazda Deups, bottom of the 4th, and what they've done against right-handers. And all 3 of these guys, and then Harper to follow, have punished right-handed pitching this year.
Analyzing the race, breaking it down.
Tom Jefferson wins his first of the year, and they're dancing on the lawn in Charlottesville and on the property at Monticello tonight. The celebration is on.
No, they're not.
They're going nuts down there.
Nope. They're not.
Span line drive. A single, a double, maybe more, taken away by Nick Markakis, first time up.
Denard Span's swing the last 2 nights is just, it's been more aggressive. He's not feeling for it. Even though he's been getting his base hits, his swing right now, he's feeling good. Real good.
2-1. Shelby Miller, first 3 innings, 31 pitches, 24 strikes. He had a game in St. Louis 2 years ago where he retired 27 straight batters, but he had given up a single to the first hitter of the game against the Rockies. So he's capable of low hit stuff. Simmons under this one. Anthony Rendon, ground ball to second, first time. He was locked and loaded last night.
Well, Anthony Alex Wood threw up there. He's hitting it. Didn't matter if it was a fastball. Didn't matter if it was off speed. Fastball in, fastball away. Inside out swing. And the average went all the way up to 277 last night for Anthony Rendon on the 4-for-4 we're showing you.
And talk about ownage. Anthony Rendon, 12 for 17 career now against Alex Wood. He's 2 for 9 with a double, a walk against Shelby Miller. So 6 times he's done that. Upper reaches of right field, still in the sunshine here on a beautiful baseball evening. 82 degrees at game time. That's a strike. 1-2.
If Virginia wins the College World Series tonight, everything you said about dancing in all those places will be absolutely true.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's some karma for them.
I mean, this is power with command by Shelby Miller so far in this game. It's 96-97 to a location. Most guys that throw upper 90s just rear back and let it fly, let it eat a little bit. He's been impressive with where he's throwing the baseball on top of 96-97.
That's Carlos Tosca, the bench coach for Freddie Gonzalez. And I would think that Roger McDowell, their pitching coach, is just looking at this young guy and saying, to be 24 and pitch like this. Fastball up and Rendon spoils it. Most of the at bat up and away. That is a base hit. Rendon hits it hard the other way, and Jace Peterson couldn't get to it. And at this stage of the ball game, I think you have a little more meaning for us tonight.
Yeah, there goes a no-hitter. That's something you have to cover off a pitcher like Shelby Miller. He's flirted with it this year against the Marlins. And Anthony Rendon with a nice at-bat, fouling off tough pitches. He finally got a two-seam fastball that Shelby Miller wanted in. He left it right out over the plate. And there's still a little hitch in Anthony Rendon's giddy-up if you watched him turn the base right there.
Rendon now 19 for 67, batting .283. Escobar bouncing ball to third first time. Shelby Miller gets ahead.
Well, the game was on May 17th at Miami. The Braves won that 6-0. Shelby Miller threw a complete game shutout, gave up 2 hits. I believe he had a no-hitter going through 8 2/3 before he gave up a couple of base knocks.
Bryce Harper on deck, and a guy in the box who came into this game hitting .340 against right-handers. Bryce is hitting .344 against right-handed pitching. That's well inside, and that was dangerously close to Yunel Escobar's hands.
That two-seam fastball kind of chasing him. See, A.J. Pierzynski was bracing for the ricochet. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Kind of flinch and just put his glove up there.
2 balls, 1 strike. Target away, and Escobar hits it the other way. And the count's even 2-2. No score, bottom of the 4th. Braves have out-hit the Nationals 5-1. But Jordan Zimmerman has erased 1 on a double play and stranded the other 4.
Team that scores first wins this one.
Kind of looks that way, doesn't it?
Team that scores period wins this one.
2-2. And the target away, and that was even further out there. Ball 3. So, right at the top of the hour, do you put a runner in motion here? You don't want to take the bat out of Bryce Harper's hands. (3-2). Rendon is running, and Escobar went upstairs to hack one back to the screen.
For every Nationals walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to support Girls on the Run DC. The Nats have 216 walks for a total of $10,800. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Bryce has all of them.
54 of them. None so far tonight And another full count pitch here. Rendon not running this time, and Escobar hits it to short, and the Braves will turn a 6-4-3. So through 4 innings, Shelby Miller has faced the minimum 12 hitters. Quite a pitcher's duel tonight.
Ball's hooking horns here tonight. And it's rivalry day at the ballpark, but the rivalry tonight is between Shelby Miller and Jordan Zimmermann, both going right after hitters with their fastball. And the elevated fastball from Miller to Ramos. Wilson can't lay off, so it's been about both pitchers. Nats with 1 hit, Braves with 5, 0-0 as we head to the top of the 5th.
So Zimmermann 49 pitches through 3, 61 through 4, 47 strikes. And 2 guys very efficient with what they're doing tonight. It'll be 8, 9, and 1. First man up, Yuri Perez. Hit sharply to Rendon first time, turned into a 4-6-3. Escobar on the grass at third. He pushes the bunt too close to the first base bag. Easy play. Clint Robinson, 1 out.
If that was a hit, you could have said he was way out of the box, because I feel like he bunted that ball 2 steps out of the batter's box in front of the plate. So it's an out. You don't say anything, but watch him start running before. That looked like he might have been in. It was close, though. He was trying to bunt that to Anthony Rendon at second base, and he shanked it to Clint Robinson at first base.
Shelby Miller, bouncing ball that Zimmermann picked up and ran over to the bag himself first time up. He's going to get the assist on this one with a good reach. Anthony Rendon was headed up the middle behind him. That ball was hit sharply.
Come out to Nats Park on Friday, July 3rd. Nats take on the Giants. It's a 6:05 start, so make a note of that. 6:05 on a Friday. Celebrate Independence Day with post-game Freedom Fireworks presented by Associated Builders and Contractors. Enjoy a performance from the United States Navy Ceremonial Guard drill team to kick off the display. For information and purchase tickets, go to nationals.com. I watch that one from my balcony every year, and it's always a good show.
One ball, one strike. We watched ours from our couch in Pentagon City last year, and just as fun was watching the traffic try to get out afterwards. And a line drive to center. Here comes Spin. Denard on the run, on the slide, puts it away. Top of the 5th inning over.
Smooth operator. Watch the jump he gets right here. Well, we didn't see the jump, but watch the sliding catch. Been some great defense. Both pitchers throwing strikes.
Well, everybody has the hitting geared tonight, but neither team able to break through. That was Jordan Zimmerman's first 1-2-3 of the night. Bottom of the fifth inning. Here's Bryce. Shelby Miller got Bryce Harper with a fastball away first time. And Bryce gets under that one. Jace Peterson out. Lets Markakis know he's got it for the first out.
I mean, if you're sitting at home right now going, how can a guy throw so many fastballs and the Nats not get hits? It's not that. I mean, you like to know what's coming as a hitter, but you don't know which type of fastball it is, whether it's going to be the cutter, the sinker, or the four-seamer. And you don't know what side of the plate it's going to be to. And there's a first pitch curveball. He's only thrown a handful of those. So what do? Number one, you got to get him down below the letters. And number two, pick a side of the plate and try to simplify the at-bat.
Ramos jammed. It's up the middle. To his left, Simmons, who's made just 3 errors this year, 2 outs.
But even in simplifying the at-bat, if you're saying, okay, I'm looking middle away, it's running so much from Shelby Miller like that pitch to Wilson Ramos. He might have been looking away right there, and his mind might have told him that was a fastball away, but it ran all the way across the plate in. That's why it's such a rough at-bat against this guy, even though you know it's coming. Most of the time.
Clint Robinson hit the ball hard first time on a one-hopper. Speared by Joey Turdoslavich over first base way. Ball one.
Yeah, no, by the way, it's upper 90s on top of all the stuff I said.
Yeah. Gets the call, the outside corner there, 1-1. Goes the other way. To his right, Kelly Johnson. Shelby Miller's got his defense on its toes tonight, and both pitchers are cruising through 5.
Little teaching moment here for the T-Mobile Game Changer. We call it the T-Mobile teaching moment today. So whenever you have a runner leave early, the verbal command you give a pitcher is step off. At the lower levels, you hear everybody scream, he's going, ah! That's when a pitcher balks. So right here is a middle infielder. You yell, step off. And that's what Jordan Zimmermann did right there. He stepped off the mound. Watch, step off, found the runner. So you don't yell, he's going. You don't scream and panic. You simply, as a middle infielder or the first baseman right there, yell, step off. And that cues your pitcher to step off the mound. He knows the runner's going. You find the runner and make the feed accordingly. Step off.
And that was after this hitter, Maben, had singled with 2 outs in the third. Takes him 3 more innings to get back to the plate. And the 6th is underway, ball 1. Little tapper, and Jordan will come forward and to his right to grab it. Next up, Markakis. Braves box, Nick Markakis part of it with their first hit back in the third. Actually, first inning with 2 outs. He was the third hitter. Kelly Johnson, 1-out single in the second. Maben, the aforementioned single in the third, and then back-to-back base hits. Terdoslavich and Johnson, 4th inning. Now Jordan has retired 5 in a row since. Starts him off with the breaking ball for a strike. And this guy's becoming a hit machine. 5 hits in the series for Nick Markakis.
The Washington Nationals Beltway Burger Pack is back for Thursday and Fridays this season at Nats Park. Receive a game ticket, burger, fries, and a drink starting at just $25. Visit nationals.com/burger for more details and to purchase this offer right now.
A.J. Pierzynski.
It's the longest you'll ever see Jordan Zimmermann look in after a pitch. Watch the pose that Jordan Zimmermann. Usually he doesn't show you any body language. Watch, he just freezes right there. Hey, what, huh? What?
Mercedes-Benz showed close but outside. 1-0 pitch, runner going. Swing and a foul.
Hit and run all the way. Freddie Gonzalez trying to generate some offense in a 0-0 game. And, you know, who knows, that T-Mobile thing we just showed you could be a game changer. If Zimmermann balks right there, doesn't get to throw to second in a 0-0 game.
Yeah. Well, hot hitter was in the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a ball pulled. Robinson to the bag. Decides not to throw, and that was a good decision. So a 3 unassisted gets Markakis to second base, 2 outs.
Well, tough situation for Jordan Zimmermann coming up, but first let's look at A.J. Pierzynski kind of rolling over that. And had a little bit of topspin to it. Clint Robinson with a little bit of a wrestle. Picks it up, gets the out, but you know, Terdoslavich base hit last time. Kelly Johnson on deck has had 2 hits off Jordan Zimmermann, so pick your poison.
And he hits it well to right. Bryce Harper going back. He's there. Got it. Middle of the track. On a ball that initially looked like it might reach the scoreboard on a fly. They've stranded 5. It's still no score. Is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Jordan Zimmermann, that was an 8-pitch inning. He's through 6. No runs on 6 hits. And Shelby Miller now. He's through 5. No runs on 1 hit. A clean Anthony Rendon singled the other way, 4th inning. Desmond Taylor Zimmermann here, 7, 8, 9. See if you can find the hit. Escobar then hit a 6-4-3 double play ball. So Shelby Miller has faced 15 batters in 5 innings. Took a little bit off that breaking ball. 79 for the foul ball. 1 and 2.
59 pitches for Miller. 44 strikes, 15 balls.
He reached back for 97 there and didn't miss by much. Same place, same result, full count.
Miller trying to two-seam that fastball back out over the plate, backdoor it. And Ed Hickox is not buying it.
Then he takes a little bit off the 87 and strikes out Ian Desmond. His first K since the 3rd inning, 4th of the night.
So he goes two-seam fastballs at 97 and takes 10 miles an hour off on the cutter/slider thing at 87 to get strike 3. That one more of a slider than a cutter as you watch it dip and break away from Ian Desmond.
Michael A. Taylor bounced one over the mound first time up. Jace Peterson threw him out on a close play. This one over by the dugout and out of play. Inside the numbers from STG. So Shelby Miller, 5 1/3 more added on to this tonight. And the ERA of 0.73 right now down in the 0.5 something range. There's Roger McDowell watching a young guy working beautifully here tonight. 0-2. That's a 2-hopper to Andrelton Simmons. 2 outs. Well, the word must have gotten out about the weather tonight because we've got a fantastic crowd for a Wednesday night here. Nets averaging almost 34,000 a game, 4th highest in the National League.
See if Jordan could do one of those. I'm going to do it myself, get on and score things.
You saw that breaking ball coming back out over the plate at the last second. And another 1-2-3 for Shelby Miller. Who will blink first? On to the 7th, no score.
Park. Michael A. Taylor has been coming along nicely the last couple of weeks, has at least one hit in 9 of his last 10 games coming into today, and has made a number of nice defensive plays as well. Tony Tarasco, Nationals first base coach, works closely with Taylor on a number of aspects of his game. He told me he's seen Taylor play a little freer lately, play with the shackles off as if he's not afraid to make a mistake. Tarasco thinks consistent playing time has helped in that regard, and he also agreed with Denard Span's theory that Taylor's strong defensive play lately has carried over to the offensive side of things, that it's given Taylor kind of an overall sense of confidence. I asked Tarasco whether he thinks Taylor is starting to really settle in and become himself as a big leaguer, and he said, I hope so. I think we're seeing signs of it.
Well, that's a good baseball man right there who can do a lot of different things, did as a player. Tony Tarasco.
But he's getting to play every day now because he's earned that opportunity based on his performance. You know, and as a minor leaguer coming up, Michael Taylor, a big prospect, never had to play 1 of every 4 games or once a week or come off the bench. It's something you don't practice at the minor league level. So now he's getting to play more and he's getting to relax more, and he's understanding that, hey, I can do this thing here. This isn't that big a deal. It's just baseball, and my game plays at this level.
Top of the 7th inning, Kelly Johnson 2 for 2. Ian Markakis have 2 hits. And Jordan Zimmermann drops it in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Michael A. Taylor just scratching the surface, didn't turn 24 until the very end of spring training. Did he go? Sam Holbrook says no.
Shade out from the side. No, not even close.
In Milwaukee, Brewers 2 in the first against the Mets, leading 2-0. Right now, the Nationals 2.5 up on New York, 3 on Atlanta. And a 2-2 pitch driven to right, but Bryce Harper right there. 1 out in the 7th inning of a scoreless game.
Now it's time for Toyota Case for Kids. The Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by an Nats pitcher this season. Let's see, Jordan Zimmermann has 2 tonight. Times 37 is $516.
Close.
Yep. Nailed it.
Here's Simmons. 0 for 2 on a couple of balls to short. And he drives one to center. Denard Span back under it. 2 down.
But promos are coming fast and furious like this game. The Peanuts will be back at the Fitz June 28th through the 30th. And again, for Independence Day weekend, enjoy food, fireworks, and fun, along with the Wilson Ramos Bufferine giveaway on July 5th. I saw a picture of that, and it's creepy. Go to PotomacNationals.com for more information. It's like Wilson Ramos's head on a buffalo, but his head has horns.
Oh, boy. Strike 1 to Yuri Perez. Strike 2 to Yuri Perez.
Oh, you were locked and loaded. You can still do it though. It's still in play.
I know.
Still in play.
Popped up. Ian Desmond under it. You may not need to because it's 8:30, but go ahead and stretch anyway. It's the Hyundai 7th inning stretch. The Nats have the top of the order, 2 up in the bottom of the 7th. Perfect night for baseball. Evidently, a perfect night for pitching. Doug Fister, will he be pitching for a sweep or 2 out of 3? We'll see here in the next few innings. Doug is 2-3, and against the Braves' career 3-1 with a 2.62 ERA. He has made 10 career starts against Atlanta. We'll get you going at 3:30 with Nats Extra on MASN 2. First pitch is at 4:05 in the finale of this 3-game series tomorrow.
Time for your Mercedes-Benz game summary, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Arlington, Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria. No score in this one as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. And what are we going to show you for the Nats offense? How about their hits? Anthony Rendon with a great at-bat, ends it with a base hit to right, breaks up the no-hitter. And I'm looking, and is the only base runner of the night for the Nats, so he broke up the perfect game, too.
Span, Rendon, Escobar, bottom of the 7th. So the Nats about to embark on their 3rd time around against Shelby Miller, who's thrown 69 pitches, 51 strikes. If you weren't with us earlier, I mentioned that game he had back in 2013. He gave up a leadoff hit in the 1st inning and then retired the next 27 batters. Let's go inside the numbers with Jeep. And some guys with multi-hit games since April 19th when Denard Span came back. Only D. Gordon with more, and he's right there with the young Cubs slugger Anthony Rizzo.
That's 24, 22, and 22 nights of 8 hours of restless sleep. Just like a baby.
Yeah. Pitchers tossing and turning, but that's their problem. Span tonight, line drive to right, robbed by Markakis, and a pop-up to short. But here goes Shelby Miller again. We told you he's won just one game in his last 8 starts, despite a 2.24 ERA. So he's matching up with some other aces, and tonight's case, Jordan Zimmerman. That's a little bit upstairs, ball 1. Ball 2.
This might be an automatic take for Denard Span. 0-0 game, bottom of the 7th, leadoff hitter. Did that hit his bat? No.
I think that hit Przynski's glove and maybe got the umpire. 3-0. He made an offer. Looks like he stayed back. Mercedes tracks it. Yeah.
That was just a whiff by Przynski.
Nats have had Shelby Miller off the stretch for one batter tonight, and now it'll finally be another.
Game on.
His 29th walk of the year in 96 innings.
A lot of things you could do right here. I mean, you have a guy that had 4 hits last night. He's got the only hit tonight. I don't think Matt Williams is going to bunt Anthony Rendon in the bottom of the 7th. Probably play it straight up. We'll see what Matt Williams decides to do. Got speed at first, a strike thrower, and a guy that handles the bat. Hit and run definitely in play if you're feeling frisky.
Yeah. And a bouncer over the third baseman. Kelly Johnson was playing in on the grass, and Anthony Rendon bounced it into left field. 2 on, nobody out.
I mean, I guess you have to respect the bunt, but there's no way that Matt Williams is going to bunt his best hitter last year and a guy that had 4 hits last night, now 2 hits tonight in that situation. And Johnson in on the grass was the difference. Anthony Rendon with a couple of base hits. 6 hits in the series.
6 for 7, and now hitting nearly 370 his last 11 ball games.
I don't even think you bunt right here. Normally I'd say yes, but 3-hole hitter. Maybe an open base for Bryce Harper and give the Braves an opportunity to walk him. You know, Escobar has hit a lot of ground ball double plays, so you keep that in mind. But we'll see what Matt Williams has in store. Chess match right now. First team to score wins this one, you think?
Rendon, by the way, hitting .294 now. Escobar takes 95 in there for a strike. Solid with runners in scoring position.
For Denard Span, you got to watch the pickoff with Simmons. He loves to pick behind in these situations. And he's talking to him right now. And that's how a lot of shortstops set up runners. Distract them with a conversation.
And a bouncer slowly hit. Escobar's going to really have to hurry, and he gets there. That's a big 90 feet sprint for the Nats as Escobar stays out of the double play. First and third, 1 out.
Well, here you go. You got your best hitter up. First and third, 1 out. You know Escobar busting it down the line, and you're thinking there's no way this is a double play. Escobar got out of the box, and he's watching the play. It was close at first, but he beats it out. That was huge, and is Freddie Gonzalez going to challenge this? What do you got here? It looks safe to me.
1 foot on the top step for the Atlanta manager. He is headed back downstairs. And here's Bryce Harper. Yeah, struck out and popped up. And again, Shelby Miller, career 1 for 10.
They made him aware of the fastball in his first at-bat and then went two-seamer away for strike 3. They went in again his second at-bat, and he popped up to second base. In this situation, Shelby Miller wants Bryce Harper to hit a ground ball to a corner. I wouldn't be surprised if they go in again here with that two-seam fastball. See how they do this.
Yeah. And Ramos on deck. How careful will they be here?
They're going in.
Ooh. Right in the inside corner for a strike.
Trying to jam him.
96.
He's quick enough to get to that. We've seen it before.
Harper, short right, base hit. Here comes Span. The Nats lead 1-0 on Bryce Harper's 58th RBI. Who says an RBI hit has to be 100 miles an hour?
Max Scherzer fired up. Bryce Harper puts his team ahead 1-0, and maybe the shortest RBI for Bryce Harper this year. Right off the hands, and the strength of Bryce Harper muscles this ball over the head of Jace Peterson. Good effort by the Braves second baseman. Good read by Yunel Escobar to get safely to second base. And look at Peterson laying out. But that was all about strength, folks. You got to be a strong man to hit that ball over an infielder's head where Bryce Harper hit that on the bat. That was right off his hands. 1-0 Nats, and that was huge.
Now a big spot for Wilson Ramos to make it a huge inning.
I'm telling you, most hitters hit that where Bryce hit it. The second baseman's coming in to field it.
Ramos takes a strike. He has struck out swinging and hit a ground ball to short.
Look where this hits his bat. On the rosin and pine tar right on the handle. I mean, you have to be some kind of strong individual to throw that ball as far as he did. I know it was a short hit. Strong man hit that ball. Shelby Miller also supplying a little bit of that, but I'm telling you, you hit a ball off the rosin on your bat.
You might say he powdered that ball in the right field.
90%. I'm telling you, 90% of hitters do that. The second baseman, Jace Peterson's running in toward the baseline to catch that instead of trying to catch it over his shoulder.
Nats make a leadoff walk, come back to haunt. 0-2 to Ramos. That's in there. He's done. 2 outs. Nissan will track it.
He'll run back 97. Good pitch.
Up to Clint Robinson now with 2 outs. Put it in play twice. Hot shot to first. Ground ball to third. Clint Robinson in what could be his 100th official at bat with the Nationals this year. Coming into the season, he had 13 at-bats in his life at the big league level, and he's 30 years old. Getting to twilight time here at the ballpark in the 7th inning. 1-0 Washington. Shelby Miller scheduled to lead off the top of the 8th. Ben Williams referred to Clint Robinson today as a hybrid type hitter in his afternoon presser.
He's like half electric.
He just says, I don't consider him a true power hitter, but a line drive guy who's big and strong, who will hit it out of the park on occasion. But he's just a good hitter, and he has now been able to play a couple of defensive positions. Takes the off speed outside. Came in hitting .317 over his last 13 games with 5 batted in. A lot of damage on this count.
Big pitch coming.
And he gets under it to center. Cameron Maybin can't find it right away. Then he does as the ball gets back into the lights. But a leadoff walk, a Rendon hit, and a Harper RBI puts the Nats on top. Ways to the outfield. Denard probably told him how hard hit that RBI single was. It'll be a line drive in the box score tomorrow, but what a ball game. And now Jordan Zimmermann, 8th inning. It's all there for him. He's been given a run to work with.
Yeah, you got your run. Go get him, Jordan. And we knew it would be like this tonight. When you talk about Shelby Miller in 12 of his 14 starts this year, giving up 2 earned runs or less, Jordan Zimmermann kind of turned the corner his last start against Tampa. Figured it would be a pitcher's duel. It is. Big knock by Bryce Harper, and you got to make that run stick. And we'll see what Jordan Zimmermann's got left in the tank. Cool night. Hasn't really had any high-stress innings. I would think he has a lot left in the tank.
Shelby Miller out of this game. Pedro Siriaco will hit for him, leading off the top of the 8th inning. Siriaco has not faced Jordan Zimmermann. 4 for 13 with 4 RBIs as a pinch hitter, hitting .304 overall. '29-year-old infielder from the Dominican. He hit .213 in just 25 games for the Royals last year. The 8th inning guys. They both pitched in the 8th last night. Matt got roughed up a bit, and then David Carpenter came out of the pen and got Juan Uribe to get it to Drew Storn in the 9th.
Pitch number 93 coming. Season high 113, averaged 93 so far this year.
Two-on pitch, it's inside. Siriaco looked like he might have gone out of the strike zone for that swing. Denard Span, long run in. Kind of crossing paths with Anthony Rendon there. And a long run for the first out.
That's a nice running catch. The ball kind of faded away from Denard Span. You know what? It's that time of day or the time of night. I don't think Bryce Harper saw this ball at all. And I think Denard Span, really the only guy that saw this. He went a long way for it. You see how far he had to reach. But it's twilight right now. And you remember Denard lost the ball earlier in this homestand around this time. But you see the great communication. Rendon peels off, and Span makes a big play, and that was ball 4. Yeah. Ciriaco didn't get a strike that whole at bat. He swung at ball 2, and he swung at ball 4.
Jace Peterson, top of the order, lined out hard to Span last time up, and Jordan Zimmerman has him 0-2.
This is where you can't be in a rush to get the out if you're Jordan Zimmerman. Slow things down just a hair. There you go.
He goes with the changeup to get his first strikeout since the 2nd inning and his 3rd all night.
Might have been a curveball at 81. Watch the downward tilt at the very end. Off a table, maybe the best one he's thrown tonight. And he liked it. You could tell by the body language afterwards. He knew he made a great pitch.
Bases empty, 2 outs for Cameron Maybin. Getting ahead, being efficient. And a ball well hit to right center. Span toward the scoreboard. In front of the board. He's there to grab it on the run. And Denard Span is a center fielder at play in the big part of the ballpark tonight. Brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. By Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. And by Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. Beautiful lights of Georgetown along the Potomac on this Wednesday evening. Jordan Zimmerman, 100 pitches, 76 strikes. Drew Storen is up in the bullpen, and we'll see what kind of decision Matt Williams makes for the top of the ninth. Here's Jim Johnson.
Fastball 94, curveball 79, changeup 88. And where's that Giants playoff promo? This game very similar to one I saw in October. Why did you bring that up, FP?
Yeah. So we're going, what, 19 innings?
I don't know. I just, do you send Jordan Zimmerman out for the ninth, or do you bring Drew Storen in? That's all I'm saying.
If you're asking me, the answer to the first question is yes.
If you're asking me, I got makeup on and I don't manage.
Yeah, I know.
I get paid enough.
I wouldn't have pitched to Bryce Harper last inning. I would have faced Ramos with the bases loaded and 1 out. Probably get fired after 1 series as a skipper. Ian Desmond 2 for 3 career with 2 walks against Jim Johnson. Drew didn't exactly have a walk in the park for his save last night either. Drew Storen gave up 2 hits and a walk in the 9th last night through 23 pitches, 15 strikes. But he got his 21st save. Desmond on the off speed. He was fooled. Fortunately, it stayed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jim Johnson will be 32 years old in 3 days. And Ian Desmond 0 for 2. But a pitcher against whom he's had some success. Boy, this ballpark is alive. It does not sound like it's a 1-0 game right now. Great crowd, 36,141 tonight. 3-2 to Desmond. He takes the base on balls. And the Nats have a leadoff walk for the 2nd straight inning.
Good at bat. Nats fans help send Bryce Harper, Yunel Escobar, Denard Span, and your favorite Nats to the 2015 Major League All-Star Game in Cincinnati. It's in July, in case you haven't heard. Be sure to visit Nationals.com/vote before voting closes on July 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Vote up to 35 times, and you could be eligible for 50% off ticket offer. So I think the fact that Danny Espinosa is in the on-deck circle answers our question about what's going to happen in the 9th.
Pretty good bunt. They're going to have to hurry. And that's a good play by Kelly Johnson to keep Michael A. Taylor from getting a base hit.
Great bunt. And what a night for Jordan Zimmermann.
100 pitches, 76 strikes.
Look at the Nats starters since Friday. 34 1/3 scoreless innings pitched for the starting rotation.
That is a Nationals team record.
That guy had a little something to do with it. Just a little bit. Tiny tad. Just a hair.
Jordan Zimmermann did not walk a batter tonight. 3 strikeouts. No runs on 6 hits. And Danny Espinosa now a chance to double the lead. Danny 0 for 5 career against Jim Johnson. And a 1-0 driven the other way. And a ball slicing away from Yuri Perez, but he was playing over that way. 2 outs.
Well, if that would have dropped, that could have been our Miller moment. But just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Yeah, Bryce Harper muscle one out there. Got that 2-seam run back fastball right off the handle. And sometimes the barrel is highly overrated. Good effort by Jace Peterson. But that would score Denard Span, who led off the 7th with a walk. And how about those leadoff walks coming back to haunt you? Shelby Miller pitched a whale of a game, minus the leadoff walk. And that's where we're at. 1-0 Nats are trying to add on.
Yeah. He's going to go without a win in his last 9 starts now, with an ERA of down around 2. Denard Span 0 for 2. That big base on balls and the run scored last inning. RBI last night, his 21st of the year. And Denard Span is hitting great now with runners in scoring position. .388 at the start of the night. A leadoff guy. Love to see Anthony Rendon get up one more time tonight. Big gap in right center. A lot of room up the middle. That'll move Denard off the plate, 2-1. Denard 1 for 5 career against Johnson with a double. Twirling that bat, tired of waiting, steps out. Inside again, 3-1.
Little protection in the on-deck circle in the form of Anthony Rendon. 6 hits in the series already. Denard Span should get something to hit right here, where maybe with a mere mortal right-handed hitter on deck, you wouldn't.
Yeah, Rendon 1 for 1 career against Johnson. 3-1 pitch here with 2 outs. And Denard Span's on base for the second time. Bottom of the 8th inning as we get into the 9 o'clock hour here at Nationals Park. BCFP DK with you on Masson right now. It's a 1-0 game with the RBI. Bryce Harper's flare to right last inning. So here's Anthony Rendon on a 2 for 3 night. Batting average up to .294. When last night's game started, he was hitting .230. He's at 68 at bats since returning. And Johnson from one side of the plate to the other. Strike 2.
Markakis with the best arm in the Braves outfield. Desmond probably have to scoot on a base hit to right.
He can get a big lead right here, the way the Braves are playing.
I don't think they're having trouble with the signs. I think everyone, batter, pitcher, catcher, having trouble getting in sync. There we go.
Anthony Rendon works the count back even. And Anthony Rendon gets himself lower leg area with that one.
Well, he's so talented and his bat's so quick. He can wait longer than most hitters. I know we talked about that a lot last year. That's right off his big toe. But he's able to wait an extra click that most guys can't.
Simmons retreats. Desmond gets a big lead. Low and away. 3-2.
That's a big miss. No way you're throwing out Ian Desmond at the plate now. 3-2, 2 outs.
And A.J. Pierzynski just reminded all of his fielders, runners are moving here. 3-2, 2 outs.
Keeping the ball down.
Rendon, a swing and a miss, and we're going to the 9th. 1-0. The Nats get a couple of walks. They've stranded 4 tonight. It's Drew Storen's time against 3-4-5. Honda brings you the Braves due up, and it's 3-4-5. Nick Markakis, pretty unstoppable in this series. 3 hits last night, 2 tonight. A.J. Pierzynski 0 for 3 tonight, a hit last evening. And then Joey Trdoslavich 1 for 3 as a starter tonight. Danny Espinosa stays in to play second base. Anthony Rendon done on the double switch.
You see the arsenal for Drew Storen. Fastball 94-95. Breaking ball's a slider. Changeup in the 80s. 36 strikeouts versus just 5 walks. ERA down to 2.00. Opponents hitting 202. Righties hitting just 111 against Drew Storen. And he rarely throws a first pitch fastball with a 1-run lead. Let's see what he does to Markakis.
Nick Markakis was on deck last night when the game ended. On the Maben foul ball to Wilson Ramos. He is 3 for 4 career against Drew Storen. Escobar on the grass at third. Goes in there with 80 on the breaking ball to get a strike. Then it goes off speed again.
Change up 86 down the way.
As mentioned, not exactly an easy 9th for Drew last night. 23 pitches, 15 strikes, 2 hits, and a walk. Got a dangerous hitter to end the game when the Nats won 3-1. Nick Markakis unable to catch up with 93.
So Markakis has seen all of Drew Storen's pitches. First pitch, slider, first strike. Saw a changeup away for a ball, fastball for a ball, challenge fastball 2-1. Right down the middle, he swung through it, he was late. See what they go with here, 2-2.
And Markakis a base hit. Tying runs on, leading off the ninth. Another 3-hit night for Nick Markakis. The former Oriole feeling pretty comfortable down the road.
Well, he went for the kill with the slider. And he just threw the 2-1 fastball by him. He tried to throw that back knee slider, left it out over the plate. Nick Markakis can flat out hit. He's not missing anything over the plate. Although he was tardy on the 2-1 fastball. Let's see if A.J. Pierzynski thinks about bunting. I don't think you bunt your four-hitter, but who knows?
Pierzynski 1-for-1 career with a walk against Drew Storen. No signs of squaring, and it's low and away. Catcher has bounced into 4 double plays this year. One pitch, base hit. Markakis had to hold for the ball to go through, and it was hit so softly, and Bryce Harper throws to third, giving the hitter second base. Bryce had no shot at third base, and now it's second and third, nobody out.
He did have a shot at third base, he just double clutched. And this is where the no doubles defense comes to hurt you. Bryce Harper's playing deeper than deep. Look how far he has to come for this ball, and he double pumps. I think if he throws that without double clutching, it's going to be close at third. And because he double pumped, it got his feet all messed up, and he launched the throw above Ian Desmond's head, and now he got second and third, nobody out. And some serious drama here in the ninth inning.
Joey Terdoslavich now infield in. Drew Storen's faced 8 batters in this series, and 5 of them have gotten on base. They're going to walk Terdoslavich, setting up a force play everywhere, and face Kelly Johnson.
Well, you have options if you're Matt Williams. You could have went after Terdoslavich and maybe get it out, then walk Kelly Johnson and load him up for Simmons, but Matt Williams not messing around. He's walking the first lefty to get to the second one.
Kelly Johnson, career against Drew Storen, 1-for-2.
I mean, Terdoslavich just up from AAA, and now you got to get a guy that knows how to drive in runs. It's 2 for 3. I mean, tough decision for any skipper.
Kelly Johnson, fly ball center. This will tie the game. So Jordan Zimmerman taken out after 8. And that is an out on a double play at second base, with Denard Span gunning out Terdoslavich. That's big.
It's huge. I mean, obviously the Braves tie up the game, but they have bases loaded, nobody out, and Terdoslavich decides to tag. Maybe not knowing the arm strength of Denard Span, but an aggressive play by Terdoslavich. I mean, you have first and third, 1 out right there, and Andrelton Simmons has a chance to drive in the winning run without a hit. Now you have 2 outs and a runner on third. Denard Span does a nice job of getting behind that baseball, some momentum to second base.
And Danny Espinosa sticking his nose in there. Here's Simmons now. Slider. And really up when you think about it. In terms of taking the lead, that run meant nothing to the Braves getting to second base.
Yeah, that was not a smart play at all. I mean, he's trying to take the double play away. But you got a guy that just got called up from AAA. Maybe he doesn't know that Denard Span throws that well. I don't know.
Simmons 3 for 10 career against Storen, and that's another breaking ball in there. Simmons had a base hit against Drew last night. Time given. Nets, by the way, 3-4-5 due up, bottom of the ninth. Right off the end of the bat.
He is the master of the dink and dunk with 2 strikes. He had a 4-hit game against the Mets the other night, and I think 3 of them were just like that swing you just saw.
Oh, 2. Simmons to the right side. Danny Espinosa. So the Braves tie the game. As mentioned, number 3 Escobar, number 4 Bryce Harper, number 5 Wilson Ramos.
As we head to the bottom of the ninth, Johnny Holiday and Phil Wood, and that's extra postgame coming up. Excellent job tonight by Jordan Zimmermann.
Well, an absolutely brilliant performance by Zimmermann and by his mound opponent, Shelby Miller. Low hits, just a 1 run by each side. A tough one for Zimmermann not to get a win on, but part of the order coming up in the bottom of the ninth.
And hopes and Nats can push across the run here in the bottom of the ninth to win this one. Let's go back upstairs to Bob at FP.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Phil. The Nats have roughed up Jason Grilli in 1 ball game already this year, late, and that was the incredible comeback night in Atlanta.
28th appearance for the Braves right-hander. 33 strikeouts, 8 walks, league hitting 225, opponents 225. Right-handers hitting just 190.
Escobar has a walk-off home run this year on this field against St. Louis, April 21.
Yeah, heads up on the first pitch right here.
Good call.
And it's the bucket of filth, the birth of the bucket of filth, and I'm sure it's simmering over there somewhere all of a sudden.
And 7 days after that, The Nats had the incredible ninth inning against Grilli when Lobaton singled, Espinosa walked, and Dan Uggla hit the dramatic home run. So here's Escobar, bottom of the ninth. By the way, Drew Storen had 17 saves in a row before that one. Up the middle, the winning run is on base. He did ambush him first pitch, and Escobar 1 for 4 tonight.
Well, I think Grilli had a good idea that he was swinging at the first pitch, so he threw him a first pitch slider and Escobar on it. And here comes that guy.
Juan Uribe comes into play third, and that moved Kelly Johnson over to first base.
Listen to the crowd buzz.
Harper takes one outside.
Same situation as the Braves had in the top of the ninth. Their outfield's playing no doubles. Any ground ball through the right side, you know Escobar's standing on third.
Bryce Harper 0 for 2 career against the Braves closer. Went upstairs, foul tipped it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Wants nothing to do with the inner half, trying to make Bryce beat him the other way.
Well, Bryce has beaten plenty of pitchers the other way this year. Huge gap in right center. And that breaking ball comes back to the outside edge.
Bryce having a talk right now with Ed Hickox. He didn't think that was a strike. He handled it the right way. He didn't look at Hickox. He looked toward first base and said his piece.
Harper high in the air, but too high, and Nick Markakis is waiting for it to come down.
He just missed that. He just missed that. We'll check out the pitch sequence between Jason Grilli and Bryce Harper. First pitch fastball away, 94. Then he goes fastball up and away, a little bit closer. Still trying to nibble that top right corner of the strike zone. And then he goes backdoor slider that didn't come back. And Bryce Harper just misses it. Did you see Przinski's reaction? He knew it had the sound. Przinski thought that was a homer, and Bryce disgusted that he missed that by a centimeter on the barrel.
Wilson Ramos 0 for 2 career against Grilli. And the big breaking ball unreachable. Wilson 0 for 3 tonight.
Still same way with that whole first to third thing. Braves outfield deep.
And the 0-2.
I'll tell you what, they never call it anymore, but Jason Grilly's not even coming close to a stop. Remember when you used to have to stop? Sure. On the stretch? He's just rolling right through it. Throw over.
Grilly on 1-2 to Ramos. Fastball upstairs again.
It's a good take by Wilson. He swung at that earlier in the game from Shelby Miller. A.J. Pierzynski trying to go back to the well, elevate the fastball, 2 strikes. Ramos lays off.
Wilson Ramos filling the count, 3-2. And Ramos waging a great battle here.
Three-two slider.
Ramos can't reach it, 2 down. It'll be up to Clint Robinson. Grilly struck out. Robinson looking in the 9th inning, the night of that comeback in Atlanta. And Clint 0 for 3 tonight. Big rip at 95.
So he got a good pitch. If you're Yunel Escobar at first base, you're looking for a slider in the dirt. If you think it's a slider count, anticipate it, see it in the dirt, and try to find a way to get to second.
1-1 pitch. Robinson to left. Yuri Perez. So the Nats give up the lead in the top of the 9th. Can't win it walking off. And it's on to extra innings against the Braves.
all the baseball action with Masson. Text the word Nationals to 29292 for team alerts and chances to win exclusive prizes all season long, including meet and greets with your favorite players. Again, that's Nationals to 29292 for Nats alerts you can't miss.
On to the top of the 10th inning, Casey Janssen with his 13th appearance. Yuri Perez leads off. They face each other for the first time. And then Juan Uribe, who's batting in the number 9 spot after they made the double switch in the 9th. And a bunt pushed to the first base side. Can he tag him? Didn't get him, but Perez, did he ever touch the bag? Must have. He was signaled safe.
Matt Williams with the hold on. And let's all take a look at it again together. Did he touch him? Did he touch the base? Let's see. I don't think he touched him, but did he touch the base?
That's what I was wondering.
Okay, I think Clint Robinson misses him completely, and he did touch the base. And I don't think the Nats are going to challenge this one. Well,
perfectly placed bunt by the former Nat, Yuri Perez. Now a tough customer in Juan Uribe, who's 2 for 5 career with a double against Casey Janssen.
Did they get him on the foot? I don't think so. Does this one show it better? I don't think he ever got him anywhere.
A 1-0 pitch and Uribe fouls one off to the right side.
And if he did, Matt Williams would have challenged it. Guys in the clubhouse don't miss.
Breaking ball misses.
It just kind of occurred to me, you know, as an analyst, you feel pressure on getting the replay right just because. But imagine if you're in the clubhouse and it's part of the game and it's the outcome of the game and those guys that look at it.
And your call determines whether the manager uses his challenge.
I mean, we know they're under pressure, but I mean, when you think about it, that's a lot. And it has to be quick. Everyone's waiting for you. Look at it. What do you got? Call me now. The game's on the line. I'm just worried about being right and wrong, and I'm wrong most of the time anyhow. But imagine the pressure that all the video guys in baseball have on them.
2-1 pitch, and Uribe fouls it back.
I think they need a race. Should have like incentive clauses in their contracts. If we get 80% or above of them right, we get a bonus.
Wow, that's a big-time hook by Casey Janssen. 74. And Juan Uribe just about came untied trying to make contact with that.
Yeah, Juan Uribe's not going to take anything out of his swing with 2 strikes, but way out in front of that curveball. He was looking fastball, got number 2.
Top of the order, Jace Peterson 0 for 4.
See if Perez is thinking about running here. Big lead. Big lead.
Well, we know how fast this guy is. Saw him in the big leagues for limited time. Then you figured time would be called as Janssen held.
He was flinching. Remember, Randy Knorr is the guy that runs the running game. He's the one that calls pitch outs and throwovers. He's not here tonight. And Matt Williams doing it on the bench, calling the throwovers and pitch-outs.
Yuri Perez had 268 steals in the minors.
Watch, he's going to give a sign. Usually doesn't do this. This is usually Randy Knorr's job.
Holding is the runner. Strike one.
And for those of you that don't know, he's not calling pitches. He's calling throwovers, or a hold like you just saw Casey Janssen do, or a step off, or a pitch out. Major league catchers call their own game. I've had so many of my friends ask me, when I see those signs, is he calling pitches? No, that's in the College World Series. At the major league level, catchers call all the pitches.
A little closer. Casey got that throw down where Robinson could catch it near the runner. The count's 0-1 with a man aboard. 1 out, top of the 10th. Nationals, by the way, in extra inning games this year, 4-1, 2-0 here at home. Strike, call, outer half. The Braves are 2-3, 1-1 on the road.
I think Perez has to go sometime, whether it's after this pitch in a 1-2 count with 2 outs. He's too fast in a tie ball game in the 10th to be standing on first base this long, regardless of how quick Jansen is to the plate or the throwovers. He can outrun a quick delivery.
Breaking ball, got his lead. And backing up that low throw, Danny Espinosa. Yuri Perez into second base.
Wilson Ramos did a nice job just to make it close at second base, and there's no way Ian Desmond could make that pick and get a tag down. But watch Ramos pounce on this ball quick. Good read by Perez. Spin move, throw. Desmond can't handle the short hop. And like you said, Espinosa backing up the play nicely.
Yeah, that ball slightly deflected toward right center. And if Danny's not right there, Yuri Perez is standing on third base. So runner at second, 1-2 count, 1 out. And a little tapper right in front of the plate. Ramos looks at the runner at second, guns out the hitter, 2 down. And if you're the Nats, you want the inning to end right here with Nick Markakis on deck. Cameron Maybin coming in. Maybin facing Casey Janssen for the first time.
And this is where, as an outfielder, you pinch up to almost an uncomfortable depth to be able to throw out the speedy Perez. You really got to play shallow in this situation to cut down this run. Perez thinking about stealing third.
He's got a big lead. Cameron Maybin, fantastic number there. Came into this game 407 on the year overall with runners in scoring position. Only 5 hitters in the league better. 1-1 from Casey Janssen. Danger on deck. And a ball hit a long way to left. Taylor back. He has it on the track. Ball stays in the yard. Michael Taylor, Span Harper, they'll catch it. And we're going to the bottom of the 10th.
And we're going to show you both runs in case you're just joining us. Bryce Harper drove in the first run of the night for the Nats. It was in the bottom of the 7th. Denard Span led off with a walk. Anthony Rendon had a base hit. And then Bryce Harper muscled his 58th RBI. And you're thinking, that was a huge one. And then in the top of the 9th inning, a sac fly off the bat of Kelly Johnson made it a 1-1 game. I'm telling you, the biggest play in this game so far is Turdoslavich tagging up at first, getting thrown out at second. That would have been first and third, one out. Who knows? So, yeah, Drew Storm with the blown save tonight, but it could have been worse.
Bottom of the 10th inning, Nick Massett. 33-year-old right-hander. Long time with Cincinnati. Miami earlier this year for 8 ball games, and the Braves picked him up. Ian Desmond is 1 for 3 career against him, and Ian 0 for 2 with the base on balls tonight. High hopper, third base side, Uribe able to get enough on that throw, moving to his left. Next is Taylor, then Espinosa. And a strike call to Taylor. 0 for 1 career against Massett.
That 1 pitch, always so big for a hitter. It's a strike, it's 1-2. Now you're defensive, it's a ball, it's 2-1. I think the biggest pitch in every count.
Michael Anibal well outside, 3-1 now.
There were some times as a hitter that I would take 1-1 and just roll the dice 50-50. It was that much of a payoff for me to be 2-1 versus 1-2. Just automatic take. Throw me a ball and I'm 2-1, all systems go. You throw me a strike, okay, I'll battle you with 2 strikes.
3-1 here. That one comes running back at 92. Full count with 1 out. Taylor ramming one to left. You know what he's thinking. He wants to get to second. Digging hard. The throw from Perez. He goes in standing up, and he's still safe. Michael, don't be afraid to slide. I'm glad he knew he was going to make it, and the winning run's in scoring position.
Well, maybe he got caught on the wrong foot.
Wow.
Or maybe he just didn't see the play right in front of him. But Yuri Perez does a nice job to make this close. A beautiful one-hop throw, and Michael Taylor just beats it to second base. He had it all the way. Great at-bats by the Nats left fielder. And look at him hustle. Head down, good turn, stays inside the bag. Hit the inside half of the bag and cuts down his angle. Just didn't feel like getting dirty. All right, game on. Here we go. They're walking Danny Espinosa.
And then there's Denard Span.
How's Denard Span feeling about this one? Well, he's probably going to get the lefty out of the bullpen.
Yeah, they got Luis Avilan. And then after that is the pitcher's spot. After the double switch took Anthony Rendon out of the game in the 9th inning. And of course, Tyler Moore is sitting in there. Dan Uggla is sitting in there. So when Espinosa takes ball 4, it's 2 on 1 out. That run means nothing. The Braves have set up the double play and a force at every base. And it'll be Luis Avilan against Denard Span. We'll check the matchups with these two lefties getting together. And now in the bottom of the 10th, the Nats have a chance to win it again. Tyler Moore. And everything on the line here in the bottom of the 10th inning as Avilan, who the Nats know very well, comes in. 38th appearance. That's the most on their staff. 3.5 ERA. 23 strikeouts in 28 innings.
Nats got him for 3 in that April 28th comeback. And you know what else? Matt Sedan needs some chocolate syrup on his shirt.
Denard Span trying to do something against Avilan. He has not been able to do it. That's get ahead. 0 for 9 career. Can't think of a better situation to take care of that than right here. The Braves will play Uribe in the baseline inside the third base bag. Simmons and Peterson look at each other in case there's a double play ball. And then Kelly Johnson behind the runner, of course, at first.
Freddie Gonzalez going with a left-on-left matchup. Denard Span hitting 193 against lefties this year, 11 for 57. He would love to be 12 for 58.
And they don't have a right-hander they're getting ready for Tyler Moore if the inning continues. Ball goes tailing way inside. Other fielder Perez really shallow. And Span will take a fastball, 94 in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. And a 1-1. Hit to the right side. Denard's going to have to hurry. Simmons will throw to third. And a good job by Michael A. Taylor of not getting fooled and rounding the bag.
Was Simmons on the bag? I don't think he was close. Was he close to the bag on that throw? Matt Williams had his hand up in the air down in the first base dugout. Dana Demuth said he was. And I think they want to check this. No? All right. Relax, FP. He challenged a neighborhood play, but yeah, his foot was there.
So, as mentioned, they don't have a right-hander for Tyler Moore. He's 0 for 1 career against Luis Avilan. Winning run 90 feet away. Tyler this year as a pinch hitter, 4 for 26. A homer, 3 RBIs. Span might go ahead and take second just to stay out of a force play if there's a bouncer up the middle. Looks like the Braves would just give him that.
Heads up for that curveball in the dirt.
And there goes Span.
You always thought in that situation that you go straight college baseball and you hang out till 2 strikes at first and then you just go and stop and see if they'll throw. You probably wouldn't throw, right? But you never know. Somebody might panic.
Tyler Moore takes 2-0.
Changeup.
Yeah. One ball game, bottom of the 10th. Nats a run in the 7th. Braves a run to force extra innings in the 9th. Tailing outside.
Spread out, shorten up, put the ball in play, see what happens.
Little tapper. Avilan has it. This ball game's going to the 11th inning. The Nats had a hit and a walk, and now they've stranded 7 runners, all in the last 4 innings. Felipe Rivero is warming up. Game 2 of this 3-game series. And tomorrow night, rookie Matt Whistler will go to the mound for just the second time. He's 1-0. First start, he gave up 6 hits in 8 innings and 1 run. And then Doug Fister made his return last week. Doug will go into that ball game tomorrow night, 2-3 with a 4.80 ERA. And he's 3-1 career against Atlanta in 10 starts. So here's Felipe Rivero.
Fastball, curveball change. Fastball mid to upper 90s. And he's been going right after guys. Challenged him with number 1. 9th appearance for Rivero. 10 strikeouts versus just 2 walks. And lefty's hitting 182 against the big left-hander.
Yeah, lefty-lefty matchup to start off the inning with the hot Nick Markakis. 6 for 8 in this series. All singles. And he now has 83 hits. .95 from Rivero.
Right out of bed.
Came with Jose Lobaton in the Nathan Carnes deal from Tampa Bay, February of 2014.
He can't be a comfortable at bat from the left side. I mean, all kinds of stuff going on, little crossfire action. Slinging it in there in the mid to upper 90s.
Fastball up, 2-1.
Stepping right at left-handed hitters.
And Markakis will slice one out of play.
Whoops.
Target is on the outside edge. Tonight is Nick Markakis' 25th multi-hit game of the year. That puts him in the top 4 in the league. And a 2-2 breaking ball just into the seats.
Oh, good effort. That was a good effort. He's playing hard.
That's a breaking ball. Markakis not looking for that pitch or that location. And that was nifty by Rivero, 1 out.
I don't care who you are. You're not hitting this. Watch where it starts. This starts behind, way behind Nick Markakis. I mean, it started in the first base on deck circle, and it comes back for a strike. Watch where this ball starts, and watch where it ends up. Wow.
Nasty.
That's a buckler right there. Look at him. Knees buckled. That's a really good hitter.
Pitcher spot due up next. Brzezinski sounded like a busted bat. Clint Robinson backs up for the one hopper. And a quick second out will bring in Chris Johnson to hit for Luis Avila.
And I mean, he's slowly, Felipe Rivero is slowly working his way into that lefty situational guy when he's showing his skipper time after time again that lefties can't hit me. Or maybe more. Because his stuff is just electric, all of it. I mean, this is the kind of guy you bring in to get out of Adrian Gonzalez with the game on the line. Or Anthony Rizzo. When you're talking about some of the better left-handed hitters in the National League, Freddie Freeman, he's not afraid. He attacks. He throws 97 with a nasty curveball.
23 years of age. One pitch.
Wow.
Chris Johnson overmatched by a left-hander's breaking ball there.
Watch the action on this at 82. Huh.
Johnson drives one to right center. Ball tailing away from Denard Span. Hits off the scoreboard. About 380 the other way by Chris Johnson.
Well, Johnson didn't get off the fastball, even though he swung through the curveball. He's thinking, well, I got to be ready for 96, and he was. And watch this tail away from Denard Span. Just got a little slice to it. Hits off the fence. Nice swing by Chris Johnson.
Then Rivera throws that breaking ball nasty at the knees to Kelly Johnson, who went 2 for 4 tonight against Jordan Zimmerman. And then Drew Storen against this hitter gave up that fly ball to center to tie the game, but turned into an 8-4 double play. He goes front door with the breaking ball, 0-2.
I'm going to say one more of those, please.
Swing and a miss. Not a whole lot of fun if you're a lefty against that guy. So, bottom of the 11th, it's Escobar. It's Bryce Harper. It's Wilson Ramos. Left-hander Eveland on the way. Up against the left-hander Dana Eveland as we go to the bottom of the 11th here. 31-year-old veteran. 30 games for the Mets last year with a 2.63 ERA. 8th appearance for Atlanta.
Yeah, fastball slider change. Fastball 90. Slider 81. Occasional change up at 82. Is it bad if my iPad's doing that?
Jumping back and forth?
I think it's done.
Well, it's expecting you're batting left-handed, it's expecting a Rivero curveball.
Oh my gosh. I need a new iPad. Maybe it'll be a rally iPad. Because it's toast.
Escobar 1 for 4. Career against Evelyn, looking for his first hit. 0 for 3. Hot shot to short. Simmons has it. Next up, lefty-lefty matchup with Bryce Harper. Cody Martin to Bryce Harper, May 9th here. Game over.
Game over. Long look, big bat flip, drive home safely. Little point to his fans in right field. Bucket of filth coming. That bucket of filth's marinating down there in the first base dugout.
That was the day after Bryce hit 2 homers against the Braves.
Just so you know, like every inning, somebody adds something to the bucket of filth for the walk-off. So the longer the game goes, the more filthy the bucket of filth gets.
Harper gashes one into right center. That ball's getting deep because of where they're playing, and he's thinking 3. He'll stop at 2, and a good thing he did because Markakis got it in a hurry. That was almost a one-hopper from the infield going for 3 bags.
Is he hurt?
Yeah, Bryce was going, pedal to the metal.
It's all right. Waving him off. They're saying, no, we're coming out. You know why he didn't go for 3? He was thinking about it, but that guy named Mandrelton Simmons has maybe the best arm for an infielder in the big leagues. And that's why Bryce Harper was smart to stop at second base when he saw Simmons actually go out for that relay. And everybody checking to see what's up with Bryce.
Yeah. That ball was absolutely smoked. And the winning runs at second base. And now you have the right-hander Ramos, who they could walk and then go lefty-lefty with Clint Robinson. Career double, number 75, and for Bryce, that's his 40th extra base hit.
Well, if it was any kind of elevation based on how hard he hit it, we would be driving home safely. And watch Bryce, he's thinking 3. Jace Peterson out there first. Simmons the trail guy if that ball gets by Peterson. Simmons with the throw, and they're going to walk Wilson Ramos. But yeah, I mean, that throw was already to the cutoff man right when he was getting to second base. Easy decision for Bryce.
Clint Robinson will go lefty-lefty against Eveland. And then there's Ian Desmond. So the Nats have 2 shots to win the game here with a base hit.
Well, you know, Matt Williams and Lee Kuntz making sure that their right fielder's okay, but they also make sure that he's okay enough to score on a base hit.
Right.
His right knee, hamstring, I don't know. Let's hope he's okay.
Well, the guy with the best arm is playing the deepest of the 3, Markakis. Clint Robinson for the first time against Dana Eveland. Front door breaking ball for a strike. Tough battle for Clint here. And it's well outside. He offers. No swing, says Sam Holbrook. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Boy, if you're Clint Robinson right now, it's all you have to do is look out at Cameron Maybin and give you a good idea how they're going to pitch you. I mean, he's way over in left center field. See him right there? And you look at that when you're a hitter. How are they playing me on defense? Not always, but a lot of times tells you how they're going to pitch you.
And that curveball really bending outside.
Huge pitch coming.
Left-handed batter battling here. And then the right-hander Ian Desmond next. Three-two pitch. He walked him, and what a good at-bat in a lefty-lefty matchup for Clint Robinson.
All right, Ian Desmond, here's a chance for you to turn your whole season around right here.
And they've got a right-hander on the way. David Aardsma's been warming up out there. So the bases are loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 11th. Ian Desmond against the right-hander Aardsma when we bring you back to Nationals Park. In which he returns to the lineup to win it for the Nationals here in extra innings. The new Atlanta pitcher, 33-year-old David Aardsma, didn't pitch in the big leagues last year. It was with the Mets, the Yankees, several ball clubs before then.
The fastball slider split is the out pitch. Fastball 92, slider 81, split 84. And if you're Ian Desmond, realize the pressure's on David Aardsma. Think about big part of the ballpark, right back up the middle of right field. And you're hoping you have good speed on third and Bryce Harper, and a sac fly will do it.
Ian Desmond is 2 for 3 career against him. And a breaking ball hit to left. That will do it. Tagging is Harper. The Nationals will walk off the Braves in 11 innings.
Good for Ian Desmond. The bucket of filth and the chocolate syrup never felt better for any Nats player than it does right now for Ian Desmond.
Hey, you might say that's as filthy as the pitching staff has been lately. And the Nats have won 5 in a row.
Well, you knew it was going to happen quick. We were going to have to wait around for a 9-pitch at-bat. And Ian Desmond clutches up to send everybody home happy. Drive safely, everybody. First pitch from Aardsma. And Yuri Perez going back. And how's Bryce Harper running on the way home? Good enough. It's got to feel good, right? For anybody, let alone a guy that's been scuffling this year, to get a walk-off sac fly. Nicely done.
2 men right now in sartorial splendor, Kolko and Desmond.
Thank you very much, Bob. Ian, what was the composition of that bucket of filth?
I don't know. Just a whole lot of mess. Bucket of filth, that's it.
Get the chocolate sauce as well. What's your approach in that at-bat with the game-winning run 90 feet away? Gets the chocolate, he gets the filth, he gets the water. What are you looking to do there in that at-bat?
Win the game. I got my boy right here, Randy Knorr, on the hat. I love the guy, and it's just, that one was for you, buddy.
A meaningful time for you, I'm sure. From a personal perspective, you've had to grind these last handful of weeks. How satisfying is this moment for you?
We won. It doesn't matter. Individual stuff doesn't matter. We're playing well as a team. Any way I can help the ball club, I'm trying to do it right now, and another W in the books.
What's been your focus over the last couple of weeks as you've tried to get back to the form that you know you can be at?
Win.
For this team, you guys get another strong start. Jordan Zimmermann goes 8 scoreless. I think it's now 34 1/3 straight scoreless innings from the rotation. What's it been like to watch that group work?
It's awesome. They've been unbelievable. They're starting to hit their stride, and it's been fun to watch. You know, they're working quick. They're really throwing the ball in the zone. And you guys should realize how special this group of guys is, and come out and support us like this every night. Not that you don't, but.
Thank you very much, Ian. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bob, back up to you.
Thank you, Dan, and congratulations to Ian Desmond for putting an end to this one after 3 hours and 10 minutes. By the way, the Nats are now 5-1 in extra inning games this year and 3-0 at Nationals Park. Lots of action. Jordan Zimmermann, Shelby Miller, they were both brilliant, but the Nats a little bit better at the end, and now they've won a second consecutive series. Tomorrow, Nats Extra 3:30. Johnny and Phil straight ahead, and from the booth, see you later.